How's everything going?
Great.
Hi, welcome. Thanks
What
for
you have
coming.
in mind?
Thank you very much.
I love your show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. It's nice to see you. My name is Al Roker.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Joe.
You look a little like him, you
You
know.
know, I look a lot like Al Roker now. He's slimmed down a little bit. Well, thank you very much for coming. My name is Bill Evans. I'm a meteorologist from Channel 7. Oh, what a great looking book that is. Remember, the cover is great, and it actually feels good, and it's very good quality. So, it's nice to see you. Thanks for coming tonight. I know it's a gorgeous day today. It hasn't rained. It's been absolutely nice. You know, it didn't rain today. It's not going to rain tomorrow, which is good. I mean, had it rained, I wouldn't have showed up, actually. It's rained nearly 20 days in May, 24 days in July, and so finally we've got some warm weather. It rained yesterday for a little while, but not too bad here. It rained where I was in Connecticut, 6.5 inches of rain yesterday. I walked by a construction site and a guy yells at me, "Hey, freaking idiot!" So, you know, that's the fun part of being a weatherman. There was a few days ago, I guess it was a few weeks ago, I was walking down the street with Regis Philbin. We're all in the same building together. Regis and I have been friends now for about 21 years. So we were walking down the street together, and Regis is really like the mayor of New York City. I mean, he really is. He's like such a great person. And so as I'm walking across the street with Regis, a lady's going, hey Regis, good to see you, Regis." And she looks at me, and I'm waiting for like,
Hi, Bill.
and she goes, "I would hire security if I were you." So I thought I just got my first death threat of 2009. It has been a kind of cool and rainy May, you know. It's been a cool and rainy June, and now we're kind of easing into July. We'll get some 90-degree weather days in August. So this is my second book, Frozen Fire. It's a techno-thriller, weather novel. The heroine of the book, once again. In my first book, I did the same thing. I gear all my books toward women. So if you're thinking science fiction, techno thriller, lots of weather for you women, boring, dull, it's not. Anybody read my first book, Category 7? My mom and my dad. All right. Well, that's good. You know, that's kind of been how this book tour has been, really. I mean, it's been fun in that I've had a whole. You know, there have been some that have come, but I have a whole new group of people that have been coming to book signings because, I guess maybe because of hearing about my first book or hearing about this book, so it's nice. So, I wrote this book, Category 7, which is about, was my first book. It took me 10 years to write it, actually. I started writing it a while back. It came out 2 years ago. It was a bestseller on the New York Times bestseller list. And I never intended it to be that way. I wrote Category 7 as a book about hurricanes hitting New York City. And that's what I do. I'm a meteorologist. I do the weather. I'm a public servant. This is my 21st year of working in New York City. I got my little thing in the mail today from the Walt Disney Company that said, "You're entitled to your 20th anniversary gift from the Walt Disney Company for your 20 years of service." So you get a Mickey Mouse ring or a Mickey Mouse pen or a Mickey Mouse watch. I'm thinking the watch. Everybody loves a Mickey Mouse watch. So, but we're going on 21 years. So I wanted to write a book about hurricanes hitting New York City. When I moved here 20 years ago, I went into the newsroom and Bill Butel was there, and I said, you know, how do I learn about New York City? I want to know where everything is in New York City. He said, take the Staten Island ferry, and from New York and back, and you'll see everything. The Statue of Liberty, the Colgate Clock, the Hudson River, Manhattan, East River, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, and the Atlantic Ocean through the Verrazano Narrows. And I said, okay. So I did that, and having grown up in the southern United States and lived on basically the Gulf of Mexico and lived through hurricanes, riding across in the Staten Island ferry, I started thinking, gosh, what a great place for a hurricane to hit. Everything in New York and New Jersey, the bulk of it, you know, you have the Jersey Shore and you have everything up the Hudson River. A lot of stuff, the important stuff, sits on water. You know, New York is a coastal community. Manhattan's an island, Long Island's an island, and there are multiple islands within that, and Jamaica Bay, and so all this important stuff sits on water. Airports, nuclear power plants, coal-burning power plants, all sorts of stuff. Your military installations, trains, railways, rail yards, your basic infrastructure, your wastewater treatment plants, drinking water treatment plants, all this stuff sits right on water. I thought, wow, what would happen if a hurricane hit? So I went back and researched to 1,400. All the great logs of the sea captains, all the hurricanes, and put that together in a book. And I was going to write a science book. So when I pitched it to the publisher said, you know, nobody reads science books. And I thought, that's terrible. I'm a science geek. I love science books. So they said, well, the people who read books, about 6% read science books unless they're in school. So I said, okay, well, so if you want to get your message out, you should make it so that it's entertaining and at the same time educational. So that's what I did in Category 7, and it made the bestsellers list. So that was my first book. So I wasn't really going to write a second book. The publisher came to me and said, well, if you'll write a second book for us, this is what the advance will be. And so I looked at that number and I went, oh, really? So I can write two. I got two more books I can write. So I got to thinking about what would I write another techno-thriller novel about, and I wrote Category 7 with a wonderful co-author, Mariana Jameson, and I wanted to do it again with Mariana in this book. She's just a brilliant writer to work with. We think along the same lines. We have the same kind of sense of humor, which is pretty sick if you read my first book. It's even sicker in the second book. But Frozen Fire is about the world's largest natural fossil fuel. Anybody happen to know what that might be? We're all friends here, just yelling out. Coal, oil, natural gas, none of those. None of those combined is the world's largest fossil fuel. The world's largest fossil fuel is called methane hydrate, and it sits at the bottom of the ocean, down about 200 feet below the surface of the ocean. It's a gas that was made 150 million years ago by plant life, animal life, the dinosaurs, all that seeped into the Earth's core, was cooked by the insides of the Earth and bubbled back up in a gas of methane. Once it got to the bottom of the ocean floor where it's freezing, it froze in an ice crystal. And that gas trapped in an ice crystal in a lattice work of ice is methane hydrate. The Earth is 77% water. So wherever there's water, there's methane hydrate. So I got to reading about that in a Clive Cussler book. He wrote a line saying, a guy wanted to take a massive amount of methane and blow up Philadelphia. So I was like, what is methane hydrate? So once I looked it up, it's on, if you go to our Department of Energy's website, the DOE, they just signed an agreement last year with Japan to spend millions of dollars researching methane hydrate. Methane hydrate is all over the world, as I said, and some of the largest fields are off the coast of Japan and off the coast of the United States, all the way through the Bermuda Triangle, down through the Caribbean, and all the way down to South America. So it's a very large amount of methane gas. The beauty of methane hydrate, it's a fossil fuel that you can burn with no side effects. It burns absolutely clean. You can put it in your car, you can fuel industry, you can run turbines, generators, you can heat your home with it. It burns absolutely clean. So that's why our government is starting to look at methane hydrate more now, because our government under the new administration is about to spend $47 billion on alternative fuels. And methane hydrate, along with nuclear power, is the cleanest. But methane hydrate leaves no side effects, nothing to deposit and put into barrels and hide beneath the Earth's crust. It leaves nothing. It's absolutely clean. But there's one side effect of methane hydrate. 150 years ago, when the dinosaurs roamed the Earth, the planet was covered in methane gas. The planet was actually tropical. There were no ice caps 150 million years ago. And then the meteor hits the Earth, the dust of the Earth covers the Earth, it changes the temperature globally of the Earth, and it's the end of the dinosaurs. So methane hydrate has been here since the beginning of time. So methane hydrate is a greenhouse gas. It warms things. So if a massive amount of methane is released into the atmosphere, it then could warm the planet. It's a greenhouse gas multiplier, a global warming multiplier by a force of 10. So in our book, that is where we have our protagonist is a billionaire guy named Dennis Cavendish. He wants to save the Earth's energy problems. He wants to mine methane hydrate, introduce it to the world, save the energy crisis that our country presently is going through. We're trying to figure out an energy plan. We don't even have an energy plan in the United States. They were trying to figure that out the other day, and there was a terrible argument before a Senate hearing. So we don't have a plan as to what we're really doing. Are we going oil? We're going gas? We're going to drill? We're going nuclear? We're going, where are we going? We're going, corn-based? Where are we going? So methane hydrate is one of those amazing alternatives. But our billionaire wants to take methane hydrate, help with the energy problems of the world, but yet at the same time, there's probably some other interests that would like to see that not succeed. Big oil, coal, natural gas, eco-terrorism. Eco-terrorists believe that man shouldn't ever go into any part of the earth and take its resources out to use it for its own needs. And there's a lot of eco-terrorism that's going on around the earth now. So that's the balance that is in our book. And so I mentioned that I write my books geared toward women, but it also has enough technology in it and techno stuff and weather and all that sort of thing. I mean, all my books are going to be about weather. I mean, that's all I know about. I don't know how to change oil in your car or anything like that. So they're going to have a weather angle to them.